Hello, everyone. I'm Chauncy Williams. We're here today for a student loan credit debt improvement program, where it's going to be questions and answers and sessions with me. That's a profile picture of me with carrying a credit card at the bottom. Website, WhatDoIDoNow-biz, and just here to share some things for you to see how we can improve your situation with student loan and credit improvement. Totally free today, charge. Just coming on, signing on. Hang in there for the whole session. It's going to be a surprise at the end. Nice offer for you all that signed up today. Thanks for coming. About 2:01 we'll start. We're trying to make sure that everybody signs on. Looking to share a lot of great tidbits. Had a survey about 200 questions and just want to share them with everyone and be able to provide my insight on my experience and things I've helped people with in the past to build their experience. So it was about till 2:01 we'll start. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of good things that we're going to be sharing today. Questions and answers at the end. Great session. Thanks for coming out the next day on a Saturday, and good to see the people that signed up and just good information to share today and taking time out. I do appreciate that, and it's just all about helping one another and building people's lives. So that's all I've been about most of my life. So this is a great opportunity to share some things experiences I've been through for other people. So we're just trying to see who's going to sign on. About one more minute, we'll be ready to get started. Again, I want to thank you for coming out today. Let's get the session started. That's a picture of me holding a credit card in my hand. A lot of people wonder where I get that idea and concept from. That's on my vision board, and I just felt that the burdens that I carried in the past, that I'm here to help people release the debt that they had in their past and look forward in a positive direction. So I'm here today to share some question and answer with you today. I had 200 questions from hundreds of clients that I've helped in the last year, and we broke them down to about 25 questions, and we're going to be sharing that session today. And they were the most asked questions from probably like 400 people. So I polled those questions, answered those questions. We're going to have a great session today. So let's get started. Just a few housekeeping tidbits. Put all your distractions away. Make sure you're in a room all by yourself. Turn off your phone and mute your cell phone. Find a quiet place you can get comfortable and focus. Take notes and listen. If you got a notepad, take it out. I'm going to be sharing a lot of good things with you today. Just having an insight to be able to bring this into your household, and it's been a blessing from God to be able to do some things like this, to be through the situations I've been through in life, and be able to be transparent for you today, for you to ask questions and for me to glean information into your households. Why should you listen? Well, a couple years ago, well, mainly 10 years ago, I was faced with the mortgage crisis. I basically lost everything I had, and it was a rough situation for me. But I came to the conclusion through my faith that I can come out of it. And I can remember on a similar day when I was coming out of it, my sister called me and said, the pastor preached a sermon on Job, on Job. I thought it was Job. I read the book, and in the book, I found out that God blessed the man that been through a terrible situation. So I had a similar story in my life, a financial situation. I lost everything I had, job, finances were in turmoil, and just based off the real estate industry, the subprime market, people were giving homes where they couldn't afford them, and they ended up putting them upside down on their mortgages, and they had to walk away from properties. And I was one of those people. But based on my tools and my resources and my faith, that I say, well, I'm going to come out of this situation. So I wrote the book, WhatDoIDoNow-CreditImprovement, and it helped me help myself. but it took me about 4 to 5 years to do that. So I feel that I have the resources and tools today to help people. So it's going to be a lot of great benefits to you as a client, to you as a customer or a client today, that you can listen and receive some great knowledge that can hopefully build your life faster than I did. It took me 5 years to get to a situation. So I'm going to share a lot of those good things today with you to see how you can overcome your current situation. Whether if you're here to buy a home, you're here want to refinance your car, you want to lower your student loan debt, you want to get rid of a judgment, a tax lien, or something along those lines. You just want to build 100 points in your credit score. Well, I'm here for that today. So a lot of benefits for you today. Chauncy Williams. I am someone that is an author. I love community. I love giving back. I know that it's best to give than to receive. So I'm always transparent. I give testimonies. I'm a vocational pastor. I work in the prisons. I do so many things outside of that, and it's just, this is something that I have a passion for. This is something I would do for free, because my story, I find myself telling this story all the time, that you find yourself in moments in life where God finds you and you say, this is what I'm really supposed to be doing. When the financial calamity came in my life, the storm, it helped me produce the book that you notice on the page. And I can remember when I wrote that book, I said, I'm going to help thousands of people. I'm going to help hundreds of people. But unfortunately, at the time, I just had a book, and through prayer and just through building my education and learning and building and reading, I was able to connect with resources, student loan reduction. I was able to connect with credit restoration, to build people credit reports, to remove negative items from their credit reports, to get rid of late payments, tax liens, judgments, things along those lines. And through financial literature, building my self-esteem, and the resources I have in my book, I've been able to help hundreds of people today. And that's who I am. I love community. I work in the community. I build people that know me. They know that that's what I'm about. And it's just a great experience to be able to help somebody come out of a situation you came out of. Why not? Here's some pictures that I have of some experience that I've done in the past. Here, a picture of me on the left giving a speech for the city. I believe it was for Martin Luther King Day, just talking about having a brick wall mentality and saying that you can overcome your circumstances and you can walk through a fearful situation if you have courage. I've noticed that in living in marginal communities where we struggle with credit and financial literacy, the biggest thing that we've run into is fear, not having the knowledge and being able to build and knowing that there's a will, there's a way. So being able to gain the knowledge and experience that I've had, basically the life experience of going through hard financial hardships, it gave me the courage to walk through those situations and share my testimony with others. So that's me sharing a testimony and just, having a smile on my face. The picture on the right is the guy on the far right, my friend Rodney Walker. He's a good friend. I met him back in 2008, and he's been a good friend since. And he's an extension of what I do outside of finances, what I do in the community. We work with juvenile youth. We work in the school system together. I work as a coach. And just being able to give back, he's that component for me there. Great resource to have, good friend. In the middle, you probably know him, Eric Thomas. We share a mutual friend. The shirt I have on, his company designed the artwork. The actual picture of me holding the credit card in my hand, Eric Thomas's people designed that artwork for me also. So I'm very appreciative of that network of friends that I have, and just seeing that if you hang around 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th one. If you hang around 9 people that are affluent and want to give back, your life will start being into that abundance. So I just shared these 2 pictures to see you that my life is even in finances, but it extends much further. Me in the classroom talking about the brick wall mentality to the left, to a group of students. I go around speaking to in prisons. I teach life skill classes. I go to different schools. I give presentations about my experience of being a struggling reader when I was a kid. Today I have 3 college degrees, 1 from Michigan State, 1 from Cambridge College, and a ministry leadership degree from Cornerstone University. So just being able to share and have the education that once upon a time I did not have is a great experience to build tomorrow's future. To the right is an organization that I have. It was called Generation X Disciples. Today it's called C3 Community Collaboration Coalition. I run in partnership with Rodney Walker and Bernard Laudermill. We work and under a collaboration with many organizations to help build this community in Muskegon. So this is just some things that I do inside of Muskegon. If you don't know who I am, this is just me, Chauncy, as a whole person. To my life, to the left is me receiving an award for the Muskegon JCs. That's an organization that does nonprofit work and volunteering. This started my walk and with God, and just being able to say, it's not about what you have, it's about becoming. So this organization helped me figure out how volunteering can really change a life. So that has transitioned into many more things for me. To the right, we have a group at the school I work at called Young Lady and Young Men of Destiny, and that has spawned into Young Brothers, where I work with John Coveney, 103.7 B. Through our connections, we collaborate through our community where we work with youth. And some of the kids are wearing a Generation X cycle shirt now. That organization is C3. So I'm just sharing with you into my life. Not only that I care about your financial situation, that when you invest in what I do, I invest in the community. And that's what it's about, producing 700 credit scored communities, taking subprime areas where people have marginal credit and building self-esteem and love in those people. So this is just a glimpse into my life and the things that I spend my daily habits and things doing and building, and just want to make sure people have better situations. So this is a view into my life. Here is my technical partners here. He's online. He's going to share with you on how to navigate and how we're going to do things today in this, so we can get into our question session. Damon, are you here today?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks. Really quickly, everyone on the call, just a quick note. On your webinar window, you'll see on the right-hand side there are several options. We will be giving, Chauncy will be administering several polls. Please answer those. They'll pop up on your screen. Nothing you need to do. If you want to click the poll button, you can do that. Definitely, we're just getting started, so go ahead and invite your friends via email. You can invite them via social media. Questions if you can't hear, or any questions in general, the questions that are asked during this presentation will be answered at the end. And as Chauncy said, make sure you stay to the end because he has a lot of good stuff for you. And if you want to go full screen and just focus completely on the presentation and what Chauncy's doing, you can do so with the 4 arrows. So that's really it, Chauncy. So go ahead and do your thing.
All right, thank you, David. Well, we're here. Wow, we know why we're here. We're here to build our financial dreams. Let's start with a poll. First question I want to ask is, who has viewed their credit report within the last 6 months? That's the first poll I want to start with. Why are you here? That's the first poll I want to start with. Have you viewed your credit report in the last 6 months? That's a yes or no question. So we're going to just really look into that, and we're going to be doing some polling throughout. I'm going to stop and do a poll just to see, because these are the most common things that I was asked over the last 2 years of working with all 3 programs of financial literature, student loan, and credit restoration. I've noticed these questions come up a lot. Most of my people I've worked with have not viewed their credit report, and when you have not reviewed your credit report in the last 6 months, errors always show up. So that's the first polling question I want to start. Have you viewed your credit report within the last 6 months? So that's something to think about. We're going to poll that for you. We're going to get into a series of questions, and I'm going to answer them. If you have any questions about them, we're going to work through those towards the end. Just take notes, see what we have. These are the most common questions I was asked. We took 200 questions, and it came from almost 500 people. And out of those 500 people, we helped 250 of them. So there's probably people on the poll right now or in the webinar now that need some questions asked, that's still teetering out and say, is this program for me? Is Chauncy Wims for me? Can he help me? And that's what we're here for you. First question, do I qualify for loan forgiveness? Well, looking at loan forgiveness, you do. It says many federal student program loan borrowers do qualify for partial and at times complete forgiveness at the term of repayment programs. Now, it depends. It comes under different qualifications. You can qualify for teacher forgiveness. That's what I could qualify under. Income-based program. You can qualify under. There's other programs where you have income-based You have loan forgiveness for teachers, police officers, nurses, and there's other programs where if you became disabled, if you are a veteran, there are several programs that you can qualify for. So do you qualify for loan forgiveness? Yes, you possibly can. It's a real easy process. So that's just something to take in mind, that you need to figure out, do you qualify for? A lot of times people think, oh, my job doesn't fit that description. It's a lot of titles that we have that you could possibly qualify for. So it's just all about just making the phone call and seeing where you fit in at. Are student loans able to be removed from your credit report? Now, when we talk about student loan, yes, they are. They are able to be removed from your credit report, but there's 3 ways to look at it. The one way that we don't want no one to leave is when you leave this earth, that's death. That you can they'll qualify to be removed from your credit report. Secondly, if you dispute negative remarks, delinquents following credit repair processes, or they can be able to be removed. I can remember when I didn't have a student loan program that I currently assist people with today, my student loans, when I got into my financial hardship and I had to declare bankruptcy, my student loans, I thought I can put them on my bankruptcy. My student loans became 6 months late. So when they become 6 months late, you consider default. Now you get ready to move into garnishment. Well, when I entered the program, I got a new job and I was able to build my finances again, I was able to dispute and fight my credit report on my student loans. And I had that negative mark of being 6 months late removed. And now my student loans say paid in full. My current payment is $135 a month. I would qualify for student loan forgiveness. And that's a blessing that I received. So that's something to look at and look into if you're dealing with a situation like that, because once you become 6 months late, you become default, and then now it's to the point where you're going to have your income taxes garnished. So that you don't want to fall in that situation. And that was a scary situation for me. And having that negative mark on your credit report it's so hard to move by yourself. So that's something to look deep into. How do I eliminate student loan debt? How do I eliminate it? First and foremost, like I said, you can eliminate student loan debt in 3 ways. You pay them off, qualify for a program that offers forgiveness, and at the end of the term, or die. The last thing, we don't want to die and try to come back and say we can get rid of student loan debt. We want to be able to say, I can enter a program. I want to share I have so many situations, but it's best to talk to the person that's talking now. My situation, I have 3 college degrees. I was going to school. I received some scholarships, but I didn't receive 100%. I owed about probably $70,000 to $80,000 worth of student loan debt. Based on the job that I have and the things I've done in the past, how I volunteer, working for a nonprofit and doing things in that capacity, I qualified for 80% of my loans being forgiven. Today I only owe about $18,000, and when that payment is done, I'm almost 5 years into my program. I'm only paying $135 a month. I'll be done with that. So you can qualify for programs that can eliminate your student loan debt. I can't wait to have that bill to say I'm completely done paying them, and that helps you have more credit. And when you enter a program where you have a lower student loan payment, that gives you a better credit rating. And there's nothing like having high self-esteem, love, and a credit score that's at least 100 points better. And eliminating student loan debt and lowering that payment can definitely do that for you. Does student loan debt affect my income tax return? Yes, it does. Especially it affects it. Default student loans may affect your tax return, as the government has the right to garnish your complete tax return if you owe them money, applying for collection fees and outstanding interest at first. I can remember a couple years ago I had several people that I recommended the program to them when they received a letter in the mail about their taxes being garnished, and they still had a loophole of time to enter a program that we had. One of the particular situations that stuck out to me, I had a client that owed $11,000, and their income tax was a large income tax. They took almost all their income tax right after Christmas time during January, and they were left with like almost $235. And that devastated them. They thought they can do it on their own, but I was able to say we could help them, but we didn't get a chance to help them because they got garnished. So they're doing okay now, but I don't want anyone to walk through that. So your income tax return can definitely affect your student loan. So think about that. So whatever you do, it can affect your payment or your student loan, what you get back. How can I reduce student loan payments? How can you reduce them? You qualify for a federal program that offers lower payments. Like I said, I'm an educator. I qualify for lower payment. Police officers. I work in the prisons, so I volunteer and I work and I teach classes, life skill classes there. So a lot of people that know me through Facebook, through my credit and debt help page, or my WhatDoIDoNow.biz. They contact me. So when a lot of times when I walk into facilities like that, I run into a lot of COs or people that manage those places, and they have student loan debt because they go to college. So I have people actually contact me like, do you have a card? I don't have the card on me, so they'll contact me through Facebook because they heard of a friend, and I'm able to get them in a program to get them lower student loan payments, where they can either buy a house or do the things that they want to build their credit. So those experiences do work. I've worked with actual doctors. The highest amount I've had is a doctor that I had, a friend I went to college with, had student loan debt of almost $500,000, and they qualified for a lower program. So that's a blessing also. And it's just good to hear that and being able to see if you can help people lower their student payments. And it sounds outrageous, but we have some testimonies that we'll share with you later on in this presentation. What are the benefits in your student loan services? What are the benefits? And people ask me this all the time. The benefits are you can identify the federal programs that best suit your needs today and long term, and then complete the necessary paperwork for your submission to qualify into the programs, offering ongoing renewal services assistance to ensure peace of mind and maximum benefit. Basically what I'm trying to say is, as you go through a 12 calendar month year, you'll have a payment. But with the program that I currently work with, we are able to put you in a similar program every year and make sure your documents are done and everything is done in a feasible and easy way where you don't have to go through the delaying tactics where everything takes so long and you feel like, did I do it right? I'm waiting on this process. Our process usually takes 30 to 45 days to build a client up, to help them out, and they can be entering into a new student loan payment, and just having that reduced and having the benefit of saying, whew, I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm helped. I'm under safety. I'm working with somebody I know that has a lot of information out there. So just being able to reach out to me can put you in a good situation. So I hope that answers that question. How can I clear debt to purchase a home or car? How can you do that? How can you clear debt to purchase a home or car? That's entering a credit restoration program. We could talk. Like the first question I asked when I polled, I talked about when was the last time you looked at your credit report. A lot of times people say, yeah, I got a good job. I'm making good money. I got a good savings. I want to go buy a new car, a new home. Well, there's some things you need to look at. You need to look and see what your credit score is like. Your credit score affects a lot. It affects that what kind of your insurance you're going to be able to get on your home or your car. A lot of times people buy cars and they can't afford their insurance, or they can purchase the home but they can't afford insurance. I'll tell you one thing. People will sell you a car before they sell you a home because they can easily repossess that car faster. They can take that home because you talk about programs like Fannie Mae that protects your loan. So when you enter a situation where you're not going to be able to pay on time, there's programs to help you. But when you get a car, they'll give you a car before they give you a home. They'll give you a $50,000 car before they give you a $50,000 house. So think about that. You can have marginal credit at 500 credit score and you can get a car. But does that mean you can pay that car every month? So with the home, they want to make sure that you can pay that mortgage, you can pay that property insurance, and that property tax. So that makes sure that you can keep that mortgage insurance on that home. So in case you do lose it, there's a benefit to help the bank for financing you. So how can I clear debt to purchase a home? You want to make sure that you enter a program that somebody disputes the negative items in your credit report, someone that can monitor your credit report to make sure no one's trying to steal your identity, and make sure that you are in a situation where you know that you have the right things on your side, where you're receiving text messages and emails like our company does to help build and keep you on a credit path. So when you walk in front of a loan officer, you like, I know it's on my credit report, all three of them, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, to make sure that you can avoid a situation where you're walking in and you're going through a 45-day process, because they'll do that for you, and then you'll find yourself in a situation where you're denied, and you don't want to be denied. You want to make sure that you have a peace of mind that I have a credit score that I know I can purchase a home and my income matches. So yes, your credit report can be cleared of debt and negative things on there, so you can purchase a home or car, and you can receive the lowest interest rate. Don't worry about the payment. Worry about having the lowest interest rate, because it gives you the best payment. And having a good credit score does that for you. But it starts with pulling your credit report and knowing what's on there. How does your credit repair service work? This is how it works. We have a service that there's different levels. The best service requires $99 down, $99 a month, or we have the programs $99 down, $59, or $79. Now what goes into that is, for the $99 down, you get a power of attorney. Power of attorney signs. That means you have an attorney that looks over your file, submits your file. When you sign your consumer rights over to our company, we make sure that we dispute and fight everything in your power, like someone representing you as a defense attorney. And we look over your credit file. We send out letters and dispute letters for you to all three companies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and we fight every single item on your credit report. We've been able to fight bankruptcies, tax liens, judgments, even have clients in the past of fighting not child support in the arrears, but paid child support. Because a lot of times the court system, you'll have someone that have their arrears caught up, and we're able to help them. So that's how the credit reporting system works. It takes about 3 to 6 months. You'll receive text messages, you'll receive emails when items have came off your credit report, or when we're disputing items. So that's how the credit systems works. In most cases, I've seen that the worst case scenario took 12 months. In the least case, it took 3 months, and people were able to get a home or car. Because it's not about you saying, oh, I got the best credit now. It's about you saying that my credit can save me money. That's the major thing about entering a credit repair service. Being able to walk in, knowing your credit report is the best reflection of you. It's almost like a report card for an adult. How do I repair credit with a bankruptcy or garnishment? Well, you're looking at someone that's been through this situation. I've been through actually both. And a lot of times I used to be ashamed to share my testimony. Now I'm on the internet sharing it. That's amazing how God can put growth in you, because I'm not the only one that's been through that. I remember receiving a letter in the mail probably back in 2008 when I was garnished, and that hurt. And also my student loans, because like I said, it was 6 months into it. So I had to enter a program that had to get my student loans back on track for about 12 months. And they put me in a payment plan. But when I came out of that, my payments was back up to like almost $450. So I entered school again with the Cornerstone, and I ended up working for the company and actually helping people. But how do I repair credit with bankruptcy? Well, I'm going to share that with you. When you enter bankruptcy, like a Chapter 7, you wipe out all your debts. What happens is all those debts are secured under that bankruptcy with your with the court attorney that's appointed to your case. And what happens is all those debts, you get a discharge letter of all those debts. When those debts are discharged, I mean, they're still on your credit report. But see, a lot of people think that just because you have a bankruptcy, all those accounts are going to sit on your credit report for so long. But once that discharge letter is in effect, all those debts are settled, but then you have a term of, I believe, 10 years where the bankruptcy will sit on there. But basically, if you enter a credit repair program, and I have an example of that I can share with you on email if you want to, of a bankruptcy being removed from my credit report before that time of that 10-year period. It took about almost 5 years to have that removed from one of my credit reports, and it was amazing and astonishing when it happened. So I actually had that evidence with my name on it. So I want to share that. I'm going to share that with you. If you need that file or anything, just send me a message or a text message or something, and I can share that with you. But the garnishment and the bankruptcy was removed. But before that happened, I have 2 clients right now, a married couple that has a bankruptcy, and I told them, I said, I don't know, Chauncy, I don't know how. I like, trust me, in 3 months things will come off. They declared bankruptcy, and they have about her husband has 15 items removed from his credit report. She has 9 already, and they've been in the program since January, so that's 5 months. So they declared bankruptcy. Now that credit score goes up even when those negative items with that bankruptcy on there, their credit scores are up right now. So you can build a mid 600 credit score with a bankruptcy on your credit report. Garnishments will come off because, especially when a garnishment is paid, it sits there, and now it's like having an F on your report card, your financial report card. And you don't want that no more after you set up that debt. So think about those things. So these are actual examples that I've lived through and I've helped people through. So it feels inspiring to talk about those things today. How do I improve my credit score quickly? Now, I get 2 kinds of people. I get people that have no credit at all, and I have people that have a whole bunch of debt. People that have doctor bills, people that have court cases, late rents, repossessions, things that are on there that should be coming off. First thing is disputing them. People that have no credit, the best thing you can do is get a secured loan from your bank or a secured credit card where you put some money down and you pay it off. Or it's a process called personal line of credit. If you're married, you can, and a lot of times people do things separately. If they're married, you can sign on a line of credit of someone that you're married to. I know George Bush changed that law where you couldn't do it to a friend. We used to do it to our friends all the time. Like I told you, I volunteer in the prison. I've been doing this a long time. I used to be able to help guys that came from being incarcerated to be able to, when they have no credit coming out and I want to build their life, they enter a program with a job, but they don't have no credit. They want to get a car. I would help them use a line of credit. If I had a credit card, I would let them sign on to my credit card, and they'll get my instant credit score. They'll get a credit score of 600. But George Bush changed those laws. You can do that with relative married couples can do that still. So if your husband is not on the credit card that you have a high score with, you put him on, he'll get that instant credit score you have if he has no credit. So that's a quick way of doing it. Being able to get a secure credit card or secure loan, and you can get as many secure loans as you want. You can actually have the money that I know they go in denominations of like $300, $500, $1,000. I actually did $1,000 one. I remember building my last friends. He had a couple $1,000. We went to like 3 different banks, established them, and he had the money, and he put it right back in the bank, and he ended up just paying interest, and he had, boom, instant credit right there. So you want to be able to, credit's not going to build if you don't do anything about it. So that's just something to think about in hand. Being able to, how do I combine my debt into one single payment? Now, there's 2 ways to look at it that I recommend. And it says, how can I combine my debt in one single payment? Well, with student loans, for one, it's consolidating. Now, a lot of times when you first graduate from college, what happens is you have this long list of student loans that from your freshman year to now when you graduate. So I've had some people that have 30 loans, 15, 40 loans, especially they go with their masters. And what they do is they put it in deferment, and they don't pay. So then when it's finally time to pay, they got all these different payments, all these different loans that's due. They're coming up due. So the best thing to do is to combine them in one single payment, and that's getting you to qualify for consolidation. Our company does that. The link is below. WhatDoIDoNow-biz. You can check that out, and that can help put you in a situation. Another one is consolidating all your bills. I'm not too much fond of that, because what happens is you put all your bills together, and then somebody else, a third party, takes all your bills and they make the payments for you. Well, I would prefer that you enter the credit restoration program and dispute certain items. I have a relative, she bought a car, and she was talking about going bankrupt because of it was on repossession, and the repossession was on her credit report, and she had some other things she wanted to consolidate. I said, no, don't consolidate. Let's fight these items first and see what's left after we fight. And she was concerned and worried. I said, no, I promise you, I've seen situations like this, because in certain communities, people are targeted with bad credit to buy vehicles, and what they do is they overcharge people. So what happens is they'll do that, and they'll be able to say, okay, they'll make the payments for you, but then you'll be making the payments longer than what you're really supposed to, and it'll be debts that you only have to pay back. And that sounds strange, but it doesn't. I'm going to describe the situation to you. My relative, she bought a truck for somebody she was dating or something. They were engaged, and their relationship severed. The relationship was cut apart. He ran off with the truck, said he was going to make the payments. He didn't. Got garnished. Not garnished, but it was repossessed. The vehicle was repossessed. Ended up having to pay. The repossession came in at $15,000, and she was just worried. She's like, brother, I'm gonna declare bankruptcy. I'm like, don't do that. Let's do this program. So I promised her the program. I said I'll give her money back if it doesn't work. 3 months, they took it off her credit report. Then they ghosted it back. Ghosting means they try to put it back on your credit report. They put it back on her credit report for $4,000. She's like, well, it was $15,000. I said, no, it wasn't. It was originally put on there for $15,000, and they try to make you pay the $15,000. See that? So a lot of times there's laws out there to protect you from the Federal Trading Commission Act for credit reports and credit reporting. So you have to have protection. And when we don't know those laws, that's why it's good to hire companies like myself to help build that. So she was able to dispute that. That $4,000 she ended up paying, we got her an agreement for $1,500. It's off her credit report. She owned 2 homes today. So it put her in a situation from not declaring bankruptcy to actually getting it off her credit report, settling a debt that was on her credit report for $15,000 that she was thinking about consolidating with other bills. She fought everything, and that was the only thing left. So I'm telling you, the best thing to do is combine your student loan debt and dispute everything else and see what you're left paying. Then negotiate something. Let's do another poll. The poll says, do you have student loan debt? That's the first question. I would love to see that poll come up and see what how to respond to that, yes or no, and we'll be able to get some information to you. Do you have student loan debt? That's the next poll I would like to have. So make sure you respond to that, yes or no, and let's just see how we can help people dealing with that issue. Because student loan debt can mess with, it can mess with your self-worth, your self-esteem, and your net worth. So your net worth, So you want to make sure that's the next poll question I have for you. Do you have student loan debt? In America, that's a system that they charge for education, unfortunately. So everybody can't get a scholarship or full ride. So we have to figure out how to subsidize our education the best way possible, and either you start your own business or do something like that. But it's just something to look at. So that's the next poll I want to have. Do you have student loan debt? Next question, what do I need to do to get a company to settle on a reduced balance? Oh, I love this. I mentioned the repossession one, the reduced balance. I had one. I'm not going to name the phone company, but it was a cellular phone that my wife had. And she's an iPhone freak. She loves the new gadgets all the time. So I ended up getting and at the time, the company I was carrying did not carry iPhones when they first came out. So I went and got a cell phone for her, for iPhone. So I got this iPhone. It was from this company. She was happy. She was excited. And then the company that I'm with ended up getting iPhones, so she ended up coming back. So I ended up paying, and I ended up paying. I felt like I paid it off. I got a bill for like $900 one time. Like, that's outrageous for like 3 months. I was like, that can't be right, because I had unlimited everything. But somehow they said a clause in my contract I didn't do that. But I remember committing to it. So I ended up fighting that debt. I ended up getting a letter in the mail, and some of you probably get it, and you ignore those letters. Don't ignore those letters. I ended up getting a letter saying that we're ready to settle on the debt at 40%. So I called them. It was a $900 bill. They said, we'll settle it for, I think it was $600 at the time. I said, well, look, I'm telling you this, to be honest, I only owe $250. So I told them that. They were disgruntled. They said no. So we disputed it. We fought it. They ended up coming back. I ended up paying $150 for a reduced balance debt that was supposed to be $900 because of what they felt. So we ended up settling for that debt. But those are tidbits and services that's either in my book or that's in the company when you sign up to get your student loans, not your student loans, but to get the credit restoration program. So it's totally worth it. I could have paid $900, but I paid $150. So tell me what's better for you. So that's how you reduce a balance. The situation with my relative with the truck, there was a repossession. She could have been like, I'm gonna do bankruptcy. I don't have $15,000, but she called me. We entered into the program. She ended up paying $1,500. Some people don't pay anything because sometimes they're overcharged, because people victimize people. Certain communities are red line for bad credit, and they're targeted. Come buy a car. You only have payments of $39 down, $39 a week, but it's not actually like that. So they'll put you in a situation where you have terrible credit. You think you got a nice car, but they give you a car that's 4 or 5 years old with a lot of miles on it. You think you're doing good. They're talking about you're building credit. You don't build credit by buying cars. You don't do that. You build credit by getting secured loans, being diligent, being secured in your situation. So what do I need to get a company to settle on a reduced balance? That's what you do. You dispute it. You fight it. Call them up. See if they negotiate a deal. But once you do that, get them to get that in writing that they're going to take that reduced balance. And then once you get that, you get them to say that we're going to settle this debt and it's going to be off your credit report. Make sure you get a letter before you commit to that balance. Okay? I hope that makes sense. How can I stop the IRS from taking my income tax return? Yes, this is the one. I run into several people this past year. We were able to help at the last minute of their garnishment of their income taxes of their student loan debt. For one, you want to avoid this if you can, but we were able to get them out. First thing you got to do is you got to make sure that you contact us. Don't ignore the letter. Don't ignore it, because what happens is you did what I did. You went 6 months default. It's the first thing you did. And what they do is the IRS has a cycle on how they do things. First they call when you owe. First they call when you owe the student loan people. Then the next thing is after they call, they're calling, or the IRS is calling. The next step is they'll deal with your situation, and then once you ignore them when it comes to the income tax return, they'll send you a letter out to garnish your wages or to garnish your income tax. Now, if you don't respond to that, that judgment goes right into the court. Boom, because you didn't contest it, you didn't show up to court or anything and explain your situation. Now you're hit. So imagine, and what I've seen is I've seen that 40% of your income being taken out of your actual paycheck, and your whole income tax return taken, the whole amount, depending on what you owe. So don't ignore those letters. Drop the situation to open the letter and be like, whoa, they took everything. They took $9,000 from me. They're going to take. And a lot of people think that once they get to that situation where they're stuck and they think there's no help, contact me so we can help you. It takes, in our program, it takes 30 to 45 days to get you processed. Once you're processed, you're paid, you go right into the negotiations with the IRS or the student loan company to get you out of that potential getting your income tax garnished. So, or IRS dealing with you. So you can't stop them. Once they start the process, you can't stop them. It's going to take you 12 months to get out of it. I can help you after those 12 months, but do you want all your money to be taken away? That's something to think about for you. What's the strategy when setting realistic goals for saving money? What's the strategy? Don't live out your means. Do not. Don't try to live with the Joneses. Stay away from high ticket items. Try to find things on sale. Be realistic with yourself. If you say, okay, I don't have no money for savings for retirement, I want to be able to save this much money. Well, first thing I'm gonna share with you personally, I'm a faithful tither. I believe in tithing. If I can show God that I can give my first fruits and my first tithe, He'll bless everything else I have. So that's the first thing I do. I have my bills set up on automatic payment, and I have my church there with the tithe. Honest, I do that. Out of every paycheck, tithes and offerings. I have to do that because I want God to govern my whole financial worth. If the increase gonna come to me, make sure God is bringing the increase. And when He brings it, I want to make sure that I have a Christian mindset about discipline and first fruits and being able to be a good husband and a good nurturer over my funds. God wants people like that to set realistic goals. But if you're not living a fruitful life, you're being foolish. To say a fool and his money will part soon. And it's not about being rich. It's about being disciplined and saying that this is my budget. This is what I follow every month. These are the things that we have in excess. This is how we live. And it works for us and my family and my household. Sometimes my wife doesn't like it, but she sees the benefits of living our lives like this and not having the glitter and glamour everything. It's good to spoil yourself at times, but do you have to have every gadget? Do you have to have every name brand designer? So this is something to think about. So being realistic that you got to have money for retirement. You got to have a rainy day fund. You got to have your tithes first. Your tithes first. So realistic goals, God first, savings and retirement, and nest egg. And you want to have an emergency fund at least 6 months. Those are some basic components that I've learned over my life from sitting down with my accountant and my lawyer, just being able to share those things with my pastor. Those are things that are being able to govern your finances in the right way. That's showing a sign of maturity with your wealth and your money. How do you read your credit score? What's the difference in three different credit reports? Okay, there's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. For one, they all report differently. I know one reports on 3 months, 2 months, and 4 months. So that's why I tell people it takes about 3 to 4 months to get your credit report in the right place. But what's the difference in the scores is different things are reported differently. Depends on what you apply for. These companies are paid to report your credit score. So you're like, what? It costs money to pull a credit report. When you buy a car, it costs about $8.95. It's probably higher now, but I know that every time somebody pulls a credit report, they pay Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. And when you apply for a loan, it's certain companies that you'll pull. Like if you'll notice, if you pull your credit report from all 3 companies, because you can get a free credit report every year. So I believe you can get 2 of them every 6 months for free. So you pull all 3 of them for free. You look at them, you can see that they'll have one item on your credit report that's an Experian, but it won't be on Equifax. Or they'll be reporting twice on certain ones. And that can be an error. So how you read your credit score can be detrimental of you actually knowing what to do. And those are things that I have in my book about reading your credit score and how to be able to do that. So that's information I can share with you at another time. But being able to read your credit score is detrimental to your health. It's like basically reading the manual to your financial future. So you want to be able to do those things. Do creditors understand unemployment of layoffs? Yes, they do. But you got to be able to call when it happens. Being an educator, a public educator, we get laid off all the time. That's helped me produce myself into this business of being able to do those things. So being able to do that, it has helped me to help other people, because I can remember being laid off every single summer, receiving an unemployment check, living off 40% of income. So I had to start a business outside of my actual job. I had to, because the market was so unstable for jobs for educators. So it's like always receiving a layoff notice. I always had to call my student loan company, like, oh, I got a layoff notice. I want to let you know ahead of time. Can you defer my payments? Can you do this? So they do understand that, but you want to make sure you warn them ahead of time, and they will work with you on those issues. So you want to make sure that you don't want to panic. You always want to let people know ahead of time. You don't want to just let things sit and linger. Okay? So they do understand, and they'll work with people that work with them, people that are on time with their payments and have a good history. But if you somebody that's not paying on time, They're not going to understand your unemployment or your layoff. Okay. What does student loan deferment mean? Will interest still be added? Yes, interest will be added. That means that your payments are being deferred for a future time. So that means that, say if you owe a certain amount and you go back to school, it's called an in-school deferment. So when you're in school, you don't have to pay as long as you're in school. But as soon as you get out, you got 6 months to see what your next payment is. And I tell people this, I say it's good to consolidate in those 6 months, because now you got those 30 to 45 days to make sure you work the process out to get you a different loan provider with a lower payment and lower interest. You don't want to be the person in a situation where you're about to get garnished and you need this process. You say, oh, Chauncy, they're still sending me letters in the mail. I'm going through the problems. Help me, help me, help me. But you waited to the point that you're getting garnished. As soon as you get in your deferment, you want to try to start the process of going through another program to get the lowest payment possibly. And you're probably like, why these companies don't offer that? They do offer it, but they make it real hard for you to get into it. We offer it to you and we tell you what you qualify for. And the hardest thing for me is trying to convince people that you can qualify for something like this. So a lot of times you don't want to go into deferment. You want to go into the lowest possible payment and consolidate all your loans. So when somebody pulls your credit report, you got one loan on there, and then you got your payment, and then you can prove that your payment is real low. Now, when you go buy a home or a car, you try to apply for a loan, and it gets in front of a loan officer. When you get pre-approved, like, wow, your credit is good. You don't got that many student loans. I remember people in the past having so many loans and everything. Let's do another poll question. Are you planning to buy a home or a car in the recent future? That's the next poll question I want to share with everyone. Are you planning on buying a home or a car in the recent future right now? Are you planning to buy a home or car? I would like to know, because we want to make sure that we give you the right process of putting your credit report, being able to walk in and knowing that you have all your docs ready. So that's the next question I want to ask. Are you planning to buy a home or a car in the next year or the next 6 months? That's the process that you need to really figure out for yourself. What do you need? Do you need your W-2s ready? Do you need your tax returns for the last 2 or 3 years so they can see? Do you have the down payment in the bank that has been in the bank for at least 6 months? I usually tell people to say, if you get a tax return, a large one, don't spend it all, use it as your down payment. So then when they say, where do you get this money from? Well, that was a tax return, and it's been there for 6 months. So you want to get all your ducks in a row and being able to do those things so you can move on. That's the next poll I want to ask. Are you planning to buy a home or car in the next 6 months? How do you know if you are a candidate for bankruptcy, Chapter 7 or Chapter 11? Well, for me, when I had to apply, and I don't usually at first I didn't like telling this story, because a lot of times I say, oh, I'm a perfect person. No, I'm not. Nobody's perfect. God sent me through this situation, Chapter 7, where I liquidated all my bank accounts, all my property and everything, because I didn't have no job. The mortgage industry was upside down, so like 10 years ago. But having that experience happen in my life, failure is good. Failure has showed me that I have made a large gain. I've produced a book. I have financial literature. I've helped hundreds of people. But I was the first person. That was just so scary. If you go back to that picture with me with fear, that was me. Every corner I turned to was fear. But then I got to the point I said, I got to have courage, because somebody else is going to need this story. That's why I read the book of Job, and it helped me get out of Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And I was able to use that bankruptcy to my advantage and have those items removed off my credit report. I believe it was almost 50 items removed off my credit report within 2 years being in the credit restoration program. Then the bankruptcy came off into the 4th year. And now I'm enjoying the spills of the financial freedom of being able to have the confidence, the self-worth. When I stopped worrying about money and worried about who I was as a person and knowing who I was in God and Christ, that helped me when I didn't have money. So there's something to think about. Chapter 11 is when you saying that you want to put all your bills together and you want to say, all right, I want a court system to pay for it. It's kind of like a consolidation when you make a payment for so many years, and then once you come out, you got good credit again. So some people do those where they make those payments for Chapter 11. So you have total liquidation, or you can say, all right, I want to do this. Okay, so that's something to look at in the future. If you're about to be a candidate like that, I advise you to inbox me or email me at some time so I can share with you personally on what happened to me. I love sharing my testimony, because through a testimony, somebody can be able to find an answer faster than I did. It took me 5 years. I've helped people in 1 year get back on their feet. So I want to share that experience with you. Are all student loan forgiveness programs based on total income? Not all of them. Some of them are based on your profession. Some of them are based on if you're disabled. Some of them based on, like I said, in depth, if you die. So they're income-based career-based, and disability. So it depends on what you qualify for and when you do it. And income-based programs, they can lower your payment. I have people that's paying $0. I have people that's paying $39 a month, $89 a month, and versus when they were paying $500, $400, or $600. You're like, how did I qualify or something like that? Well, it's easy. My link is at the bottom. How does credit scores increase after ending your program? I have a database with about 99 clients on it. As soon as something comes off your credit report, the credit reporting agency has to report it. Like I told you, 3 months, 2 months, 4 months. But when something comes off your credit report, and as soon as they get it and it comes off, your credit score goes up immediately. So if you have 5 items come off, that reflects in that one company. It reflects in Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. So it reflects right away. Okay. Is it easier to handle? Is it easier to handle your own credit restoration process versus dealing with your own company? You want to make sure that when you're dealing with it, you want to see that if you can do it on your own. But just imagine, like, this is what I tell people. Okay, you need brakes in your car. You can buy the book and fix your brakes, but then your family got to ride in that vehicle. You got to transfer your wife and your kids in that vehicle, but you put the brakes on it, and you're on the highway at 80 miles per hour. So it's good. You could try it yourself. Or when it comes to filing your taxes, and you say you make a large amount of money, so I file my own taxes. So then now you get an audit from the IRS. And you're like, who been filing your taxes? Me, but you don't know all the laws. So it's going to be some loopholes on where they're going to have their delay in taxes, and they're going to hold you off. Because if you don't use the right terminology like we have for our company, we give the right terminology. We have lawyers that help you and assist you move through the process. So when you get a hiccup, I call it hiccup is, they'll send you a letter saying, oh yeah, we got your dispute from a third party company. We're working on that process. So when you get that letter, you can send it to our company and they'll deal with it. But when you do it, they delay you, they delay you, they delay you. You'll be able to do some, but the ones that are more serious, like a bankruptcy, a garnishment, tax lien, they'll take a little bit more time. So that's something that you want to look at and think critical about. Okay. How do I start building my credit after credit restoration? We're talking about the person that has no credit afterwards. And it's like a bomb blew up, like boom, and you had all these negative things in your credit report, and you entered our program, now you have nothing on there. Well, first thing I told you is secured loan, secured credit card. Third, making sure you establish a budget so you can build the savings up, because part of your savings is your credit score. Then you want to be able to say to yourself that, what can I do in moderation to say, what can I build? Do I need to be on a credit line as my wife? Like I told you in the past, you can get on anybody's credit line and build a 600 credit score. So you can sign up for somebody else's credit. They do sell credit lines, but I'm not into that business because that can be illegal. So I'm not into that, but I know that the correct process is being able to sign on a spouse's credit line. So and that can give you an extra credit score. So that's something to think about. That's how fast you can build your credit. A secure credit card, a secure loan, pay that off, 6 to 10 months, boom, and it'll add 100 points to your credit score. Okay, so after you do a credit restoration program, it'll add 100 points to your credit score. So that builds it fast. Does your credit repair company offer advanced legal level help? Yes, they do. We have a program called Concord Premier, where you have letters that we'll send out to mortgage companies when you're applying, as you know you're working with a service. You get the text messages, you get emails, you get identity theft protection. You're able to log into a system with your username and password. I have a 1-800 number, 855-255-0081 that you can call at any time of day, mountain time, where you can get instant help about your credit repair, and not only talk to me, but you get also a consultant that you can work with. So that's the advanced level help that you can get. We're not talking about somebody you can call on the phone and say how my credit restoration process is going. No, you can log into an actual database and pull up your actual credit report, all 3 of them, and seeing what's going on with each file, and seeing how we're disputing and fighting those, and what legal actions we're taking to help you sustain financial freedom. How can I get my student loans out of default? We do that process. First thing is, we want to make sure that you make a call, or the link below, WhatDoIDoNow.biz. You can click on that, put your name and information in, you receive a call if you're in default. I told you default is 6 months. It means first they sent you the bill, then they sent you that you late, you due, now you 6 months, now you're in default. We can get you out that default process by handing you off to another lender. But as soon as you get in default process, don't wait to get in default process. If you are, we can get you out. But like once again, I told you it's 30 to 45 days after you go through our process. So think about that in moderation, and you want to do it. I tell people that you want to get in while you're in deferment, but we have helped many people get out of default, and it's a good experience to get out of. Is it better to pay student loan interest instead of total due? When it comes to student loan interest, it's best. It depends on what program you're in. Now, here's my case. I always like speaking from personal experience because a lot of times I don't want to seem like I'm a person that I know it all, like I've never been through anything, like I'm sitting up here and I'm rich in front of you. I'm who I am today in front of you today because I've been through these actual hurtful situations and hardships of my financial hardship, taking my wife and my family through some terrible things. But guess what? Life happens. So when you talk about interest only, a lot of people say, I want to pay mine off fast. Well, what's the point? Into a 10-year program where you qualify for loan forgiveness and you paying, like myself, $135 when I get an income tax return. If I get a bulk of money, I have a second bank account that's only established for student loans. So my payment is $135 a month, and it's an interest-only payment. But after 10 years, all my whole loan is wiped out. I'm 5 years into the program, and I'm only paying $135. So think about that. So that's $135 over 12 months is $1,200, a little bit over. So imagine income tax return, bonus from a job, some book sales. I take that check, $2,000, put it in the bank. Don't touch it. Now I can get it on automated pay, qualify for a 1% decrease. But then my payments are being made on time. Now my student loan is saying that he's paying on time, but then I already got it consolidated and I got one low payment. So now I got a positive item on my credit report. So if I pay it off, it's going to come off my credit report and I'm not going to have no credit history. Why would I want to remove a bill that's so large that I'm paying down? So that's what interest only can do for you if you enter one of our programs. Hope that makes sense to you. Here's a page for you to look at. You made it to the end of our presentation today. To get my personal credit attorneys and student loan reduction program working for you this week. No obligation to you at all. Here's the link. Check it out. You get student loan officers or paralegals to discuss your credit improvements and options. I'm so glad you tuned in today and you checked out what I had for you. This was for you. I had over 200 people ask me almost 300 questions. It took me 3 months to break through all those questions and answer those and find the ones that are most common throughout our nation. I'm here to help. It's been a great experience working with you today and sharing with you that there is a way. Don't let it linger. Don't let the pain of bad credit and student loan debt be the burden. Think about the picture of the PowerPoint that I started with. Even on my Facebook page, I have that credit card I'm holding in my hand because I know how it feels to have the burden of bad debt on your back, and it hurts. So these are some testimonies of what people are saying about me. I'm going to read one of these. A good friend of mine, Kaya, she says, Chauncy is helping me clean up what I messed up. The phone call I got yesterday saying loan forgiveness is in the near future was exactly what I needed to hear. Next up, credit repair. My blessings are on the way. Thank you again, Chauncy, and I want to thank Kaya Thornton Hunter. She's recently married, so as you can see, when she got her finances together, her romance life built, and then she's a good friend of mine. And just seeing people like that, just going to getting God graces and building better lives, and I'm connected to that success. That makes me feel good as a Christian. So, there's another one from my friend Heather. She just completed a master's degree. She entered our program, and she was ecstatic about it. And she's doing social service work and working with people in our community. So it's good to say that I'm part of that success also. So that's what it's about, people giving back and showing that you can be a nurturer in your community. So that's what I stand for. So it's not about Chauncy being some financial guru. It's about Chauncy going through pain and hurt and being able to see the change and having the honesty with myself that I have to have the right attitude because I have a network of people that I have to build up. And I'm thankful for what I've been to, and it just gave me the endurance to keep on working and sharing these ideas with you today. Another one, I have another one, this young lady named T.D. Stone. I've talked to her several occasions. She's doing good. She's actually moved to another city, and she's living a blessed life. She says, Chauncy, guess what's on my credit report? Here's a hint, nothing. And it's like she got a smiley face behind that. And oh yes, how much am I paying in my student loans debt? Nothing. She qualified for student loan forgiveness. They knocked out almost $16,000 to $20,000 worth of debt. I was so shocked and surprised, and she's living good with her family and everything. And condolences go out to her, and it's just a blessing to see that another person, Tina Grisham, she believed in, and she gave a great testimony about me, and just it's just good being connected. I've actually taught her daughter in one of my classes in the past, and it's just good to see that people that you live in a community with, you're able to glean and help. So that's good. The next one is my friend Jonathan Walker. When I said I lost everything I had, he was my business partner. I trusted him, and I felt so bitter towards him. But then as I started seeing when God had brought my life back, I had to go back and help somebody that actually put me in a situation to lose everything I had. And that's the thing about being a person that's been through hardship. You got to be able to go back to work with people that you felt that spited you. But when I look back, he didn't spite me. It was more than me. He was trying to help me make money. And I love this brother for this. I'm going to read what he says. You can look at his credit score, 720 and 718. And he's a man of God, and it's just good to see him. This is what he said. After the real estate meltdown, my credit bottomed out. I reached out to Chauncy, and he helped me get together again. Additionally, he helped me take my $665 student loan payment to a payment of $0. He's a married man, 2 beautiful kids. We went to college together, and just our relationship suffered when I suffered financially. I tried to blame everything on him, and see, God found me in that situation, and I had to change. He has helped me. He has now helped hundreds of people, and he has helped me do that also, and I love this brother for that. He mentioned that I'm a minister. I love God. I'm a husband. I'm also a alumni with him at Michigan State University. I work in elementary school, so I work with tomorrow's future, so I have to pour into them. I'm a coach, I'm an author, and a mentor, and if you need his help with your credit or your student loans, contact him, and that's his credit score at the bottom. And we're talking about we lost properties. He had about 10 properties, I had 5, and we thought we were going to be rich, and if you had seen his credit score, you'd have been like, he's not making it out. And I can remember we were so sad, and just God found us at the bottom, and that's what God does. He'll find you somewhere, and he'll give you a moment in your life that I call it the now moment. The moment when things seem like they're so bad right now, but God gives you a word or an experience or a situation. God gave me that book, and through that book, I was able to help people with student loan debt. I was able to help people with credit restoration. And now I'm looking back over the years since I've been doing this. It's hundreds of people in my database, and I'm like, God, thank you for giving me the courage to walk through my fear. So if you see these credit scores, hey, I'm trying to create a 700 community. What does a 700 credit score community look like? I bet it's beautiful homes, loving families, higher education, no poverty, substance, people loving one another. So that's my vision and my passion. 700 credit score communities for everyone. So if I can do that, come aboard, work with Chauncy Williams. Here's again to get my personal credit attorneys and student loan reduction officer today. I work with these people. We've been helping a lot of people. There's the link. No risk obligation today. Sign up, come in. I appreciate you being on the call and being here at the webinar. I want to see your life change like mine did, and mine is constantly changing. I want to pour into more people, because as God pours into me, I want to pour into you. For the people that stayed on all the way through, I promise, here's your special gift as I promised to you. Ta-da! Action taker bonus. If you registered within 7 days, either with one of the programs, the student loan program or the credit restoration program, where we can dispute bankruptcies, tax liens, judgments. You can see results in as quick as 3 to 6 months. It's worth it. If you want to lower your student loan debt and receive a payment of possibly the lowest payment I've had is $0 or $39, or my payment of $135. If you got some burden, like I said, that picture that I had is a symbol of what I've been through. Me with a big old credit card in my hand, talking about what do I do now, being hurt. This is a value of $79 on a digital version where you can have it on your Android or your laptop or your Chromebook. That was $9. I'm giving that away today. If you sign up for one of the programs, you can get an actual physical soft copy of the book. What Do I Do Now? The book that changed my life. I wrote it because I have many testimonies in it and personal experience of how I built my life back through reading the book of Job, and it's helping me. And then last but not least, the audio book, where I spent hours in the studio of my time reading my whole book over and over and over until I got it right. It has beautiful music in the background, and I appreciate my my sound conductor, Demetrius Stimich, for building that audio book for me and just doing that. It's a total value of $79, free of charge for you today. You sign up for one of the programs. It's been a blessing working with you today, and I appreciate you coming. I'm on the radio in Muskegon, 103.7 The Beat, 103.7 thebeat.com. Check it out, 3 o'clock every Saturday. We have all the shows we have on there. Me and my buddy Tony Williams, we give away free tidbits about insurance, credit restoration, student loan debt. I'm on Facebook, What I Do Now, Credit and Debt Help. I'm on Facebook personally, the image of my credit card, Chauncy Williams, and WhatDoIDoNow.biz. So just check me out. This is the free offer for you. Sign on, get to the programs. We're working today. You can call the numbers. One of the phone numbers is 855-255-0081 for a free consultation. And the other one is for the student loans. You have to follow the link, put in your name, your number, the time you want to be called. You want to be called today, you can, and you get all this information for free. This is my experience that I lived through. I'm Chauncy Williams, WhatIDoNow.biz. Thanks for showing up and coming. Damon, you want to share anything with me? Being part of being one of my testimonies?
I didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, I wanted to jump in, and I want to thank you because I've seen a 100-point jump in my score. I'm now at about a 655. So based on talking to you and your coaching and working on the programs, I did want to say you want to switch to the very last slide for anybody that missed that has the link that they can go to. And we do have a few questions that if you can answer. We're just at 3 o'clock, so we made it an hour. One of the questions that was asked was, how long does the process take? And I'm assuming they're talking about both of those, the student loan.
Okay. With the student loans takes about, into the process, we charge a fee. Fees are different based on what kind of consolidation that you require. But it's totally worth it. Once you enter the program, we break the payments up, and it takes about, after you pay the fee, it takes 30 to 45 days to qualify for that. With the credit restoration, it's good to get a free consultation, but I'm telling you right now, for most clients, depending on your situation, most clients, you see significant changes within 3 months for credit restoration. You can add 100 points, like you said, you added almost 100 points to your score in about what, Damon, about a month or 2 months? It was 2 months for yourself. So it takes about 3 months. I have a relative, my sister, she bought a house in 6 months. And I can remember my nephew talking about he wanted to buy a house, and it took 6 months in the program, and now she has a new home, and she was renting. So you always got to look at, don't look at the program, look at what you're trying to get into. Are you trying to get into a new home, a new car? You're trying to go back to school? And what's the obstacle that's blocking you? If you can enter a program that can get you to, can access success for you in a near future, it's worth it. So because what's good credit without progress? What's a lower student loan payment without progress? And that's what we're here for. We're talking about growth and progress because I want to see communities that have 700 credit scores. That's lower crime, that's lower poverty, higher education. And that's what I'm truly about, because being an author, an educator, and a mentor, and somebody that goes into the prisons and works in these places, credit scores and self-esteem and love produces good citizens. So by having a higher credit score, your self-worth really does change, because you're having more money at the end of the month. Your month is not beating your money. It's just being in the best situation. What's another question, Damon? I hope that gave them an answer. So we're looking at 3 to 6 months for the credit restoration, and we're looking at 30 to 45 days to enter in the student loan program.
Okay, and just for anybody on the call, if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see a link to get started. You can click that. That'll take you over to the form. Next question was, how do you stop creditors from harassing me on my cell phone?
Okay, how you get stop harassing? Now I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna give you a tidbit. They gonna get their debt, but it's what you can do. This is what you can exactly say. Can you please stop calling me? I feel like you harassing me. Please stop calling me. I feel like you harassing me. I'm gonna work to my best ability to work out a plan with your company. But I prefer that you don't call me. Could you do it in writing? Now they're gonna say that we continue to collect this debt. That's when you need to think about, okay, I got them stop calling me. Now they're sending letters in the mail. Are you gonna respond to the letters in the mail, or are you gonna enroll yourself in the program? And I understand I've been laid off before. I done lost a job. I done felt like I ain't had an income. But it's always good to create a plan. So that's the tidbit I'm gonna give you. When they call you, answer the phone. Don't let it go straight to the voicemail, because what that does is that speeds the process up. See, debts have statutes of limitations. Certain debts last 3 years, 7 years. And what they have to do is they take insurance out on their property. Car loans, they take insurance out on. House loans, credit cards. They take insurance out on certain things that they have. So when you default on the item, their insurance picks it up. So what they do is they sell your bad debt to a collection agency, or for pennies on the dollar. So we're talking about, say if you have a debt hypothetically for $500. Now you're on the hook. They're calling you, and they're like, well, we want to collect this debt. Now it's $800-900. We got interest. We got this payment. And you're like, you don't answer the phone. So that's process. If you answer the phone, you say, I'm trying my best. Guess what you're gonna do? Now the resolution is gonna be it. The process is going to be, please stop calling me, because you send it to me in writing. They'll send you a bill, and you can write back to them saying, like, I don't have that much money right now. My income is different, and you can negotiate something. That's free for you to hear today. But if it's a larger debt and you feel like I can't surmount it, I can't live above it, you want to be able to say, hey, I can do something to make sure that I can negotiate that debt. I can enroll in a program where we'll fight that debt for you, and then you can move on. But you want to get them off your back, and you want to devise a plan where they can stop calling you, because that's frustrating. Those 800 numbers, those private numbers, I lived that life. Having letters come on, put on your door, put in your mailbox. Ooh, pink letters, purple, green. I mean, I know what it is. I know what it's like. Life hits people. Nobody is perfect. But successful people, it's not about them failing. It's about what they do through their failures. So that's how I want to just share with you. Don't avoid it. Answer the phone. Talk to them. And you'll find out that it's a person on the other end. And then if they start harassing you and talking to you in the wrong way, let them know, like, that's not how you're supposed to treat me. You don't supposed to call after 8 o'clock at night. This is too late at night. I'm at work right now. This is my workouts. You can't call me on my job. That's defamation of character. You can't do that. So is there any other questions, Damon?
Yes, we got.
Still there?
Yeah, one last one. What credit monitoring services do you recommend?
Credit monitoring services, we do have our own. We do have our own monitoring services where if somebody is applying for your credit and they steal your identity, we have that in our system already. So our system has that already, and that's the best system. Like I mentioned on one of the questions, our monitoring service works like this. When things come off your credit report, you'll know. When your credit score increases, you'll know. When someone's messing with your credit, when they're trying to steal your identity, you'll know. So we have I will call it the trilogy. I call it not a dual, but we have a 3-tier product that helps our client when it comes to disputing items and when it comes to monitoring them and protecting their identity. We one of the most exclusive programs that can help you there, but they want to charge you $19 a month items. So you understand, they're not giving you a power of attorney. So they're not giving you that I call it leverage. And you want leverage when it comes to dealing with major corporations, $1 million corporations that's trying to sue you for debts and trying to get opportunities back from you because life happened to you. I hope that answered that question.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that we have for today.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone listening. Again, the link is at the bottom. The phone number for credit restoration you can call. You got a pen. It's 855-255-0081. Again, I'm Chauncy Williams. I'm on 103.7thebeat.com radio station. All our shows are on there. I'm talking about things like this. Facebook, Credit and Debt Help is our Facebook page. WhatDoIDoNow.biz, and my own personal page where I share things that I'm doing in the community with other people. Reach out to me, share with me. Let's build your life back. It took me 5 years. I've helped people where it took them 1 year with both programs and the financial literature. So if I can offer you something that takes 1 year versus 5 years, you tell me, is it worth your time and money to spend 1 year with me? Thank you again.